Hello, everyone. It's Jennifer Joy, Creativity and Life Purpose Specialist, and I'm here with you today on day 8 of Change Your Life in 30 Days. That's right. We're doing a little book group here this month, the month of April. We're going through the book Change Your Life in 30 Days by RHONDA BRITTEN. She is the founder of the Fearless Living Institute, and I am a Master Fearless Living Coach, and I'm also a mentor and trainer for the Fearless Living Institute and for her life coach certification program. So basically, I help people become life coaches. We have a year-long program through Fearless Living, and I'm one of the teachers and mentors there. So that's one thing I do for my side hustle when I'm not working on my business. My other side hustle is with the youth theater. Me and a couple of friends of mine created a youth theater here in our town, and actually today is our final dress rehearsal, and then next weekend is the show. We're doing Peter and the Starcatcher, which is a very ambitious production for a group of primarily middle schoolers, and they're doing a great job. They're hitting it out of the park, and that's probably because of the discipline they apply. So let's go ahead and get into today's topic, which this is another topic that I could probably give a whole workshop on. So it was really challenging for me to decide what part of this to talk about. And so I'm going to try to keep it tight and easy and sort of focused today, because the freedom of discipline, as Rhonda talks about it, I'll read a little excerpt near the end of the chapter. She says, "Your willingness to become more disciplined tells me how committed you are to being true to yourself and changing your life. Focus on one area of your life at a time, or on building one skill at a time. This will support you in becoming disciplined without being overwhelmed." So that's sort of what I chose to focus on today, because she talks in this chapter about how, trying to put my book down here, how most of us, me included, tend to think of the chapter is called The Freedom of Discipline. And we tend to put freedom on one end of the spectrum and discipline on the other. And they don't meet, right? You can either have freedom and be passionate and loving life and spontaneous, or you can be super disciplined and life feels like drudgery and work and it's draining and horrible. So if you're looking at it from this spectrum, if you're trying to create a business or a creative business, you're never going to want to give up your freedom by being disciplined enough to do your business. You're never going to want to give that up. And for me too, I've been in this situation. I can be extremely rigid and extremely disciplined. It's coming from fear, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Yet I can be extremely rigid and disciplined. Even saw that coming back, that pattern coming up for me in my life this week, around my business, around this program, around what I'm working on for you, the prize I'm working on. I was becoming very rigid and almost losing myself in the work, and not in a good way, not in a like I'm in the flow and I lost myself in the work, but in me, I'm being super hard on myself. So I can do that extreme discipline. But with me, I have health issues in my last, well, I was going to say it's only been the last few years, but it's actually been almost 20 years. So about half my life, I've had health issues where if I push myself too hard, if I'm too far in the discipline mode, if I'm too stressed out, I will actually crash. And so I not only have this pattern of moving too far into discipline, but I have this extreme fear of moving into discipline because it might cause me to crash, and then I lose my health and I lose my freedom. So Rhonda is really talking about reframing it in this chapter. Fear wants us to see it in black and white, where you can't have both, right? You just can't have both. Fear wants to see that they're mutually exclusive. So I wanted to dive in and, well, let me back up a little. If I then look at certain things with creativity, and you've probably experienced this as well, where you do lose yourself in work and in a good way. You know, I'm going to the theater this afternoon for our dress rehearsal, and it's like play to me. It's like a giant playground. I love it. I'm passionate about it. And yes, I do have to work on it disciplined at home, especially if we're doing a musical. That falls a lot onto my shoulders because I'm the choreographer. I'm on the directing team. I help direct, but choreography, that's all mine. So I have to be very disciplined at home with the choreography portion when we're doing a musical. But for the most part, I find a lot of passion and fun and freedom in my work in the theater. So the truth is, fear wants to see them as mutually exclusive, but they're not. They're not. And you know this to be true if you're involved in your creative work. So what you do when things are black and white, we actually talked about in day 6. Now, I didn't bring up this specific thing. And I actually had someone, I believe it was Kelly, put in the comments, oh my gosh, this tool can be used for so many things. This tool that I presented in day 6, which is stretch, risk, or die. It can be used in so many ways, countless ways. I can't even tell you how many ways. That's how countless they are. And really what it is looking at what your comfort zone is right now, your status quo, where you're at right now, and seeing what's just a little bit outside of your comfort zone, what's further outside of your comfort zone, and what's the farthest outside your comfort zone. Okay, stretch, risk, or die. If you want to find out more about that, check out day 6, stretch, risk, or die, day 6, and you can just search on it in the script. But that's it in a nutshell. So it really helps eliminate the black and white, because right now, my comfort zone is perhaps that I should be really disciplined to grow my business, to serve you more. That's my normal pattern that's been triggered in my brain the last couple of weeks. That's my comfort zone. And then how far outside the comfort zone am I willing to go? Now, the farther outside you go, the more fear comes up and tells you you should be black and white. So what we're looking at is when you're looking at discipline, whether you need to be more disciplined or less disciplined, right? Because you probably know what type of person you are. And actually, when you move into the group, many of you answer these questions. And I see some of you are like, yeah, I'm just lazy. I'm being lazy. I'm sitting on my butt. I'm not doing anything. Okay? So maybe a little more discipline would be helpful for you. In the stretch category, just a little more discipline. Where someone who's maybe draining themselves, beating themselves up, being too disciplined, you might need to stretch a little bit and allow a little more freedom. So think about stretch, risk, and die. Step up or step down your discipline in just a little bit of a way. Right? Because really, I talked about with stretch, risk, die, and I've talked about several times in this Change Your Life program, is that we don't want to set up too much fear or too much resistance. When we set up too much fear, too much resistance, we get what happens at the beginning of the year when everyone has these crazy New Year's resolutions and they hit it hard and then they fizzle out and fail and burn out. And then they feel like a failure and then they feel bad about themselves and the fear tells them they're a piece of crap and that they can never get it right. And I know many of you are dealing with fear and self-worth issues. So we want to just move incrementally, take those baby steps. Discipline is extremely important. And you don't want to set yourself up for failure. You want to set yourself up for success. As I've talked about in this program as well, and in this group, our internal state, law of attraction, manifesting, we really want to be mindful of our internal state so that we can have our external state reflect our internal state, right? Like attracts like. So if we're creating from a place of resistance and fear and struggle, we're going to attract more resistance and fear and struggle. That said, we can't just sit in our comfort zone all day. That's not satisfying. That's not the way to grow and expand and prosper. We all have a calling to expand, to move forward, to bring our work into the world, to serve others. So just focus on those stretches when it comes to adding discipline or maybe giving yourself a little bit more freedom, whatever it might be. And I wanted to mention, as we're talking about internal versus external, your discipline could be mindset. Mindset is huge, right? If you're coming into this with fear, if you're coming into this with confidence issues or self-worth issues, if you're having a hard time thinking you're good enough, your work is good enough, that you can charge enough, that people will like what you do, a great starting place for discipline is mindset. And when I work with people through my 90-day program, that's what we tackle the first month. We actually look at your fears and your limiting beliefs that are happening internally. What's coming up for you, and how can we create a discipline around working on your mindset? How can you move into writing affirmations every day or saying them? Affirmations that support you, not the ones that don't, not the ones that feed fear, but how can we create affirmations and intentions that really support you in getting clean and clear internally, so that you can have that clarity externally when it comes to your work. When we kick into your work and kick into action more in month 2, and living your purpose using especially scientific hand analysis to find out your purpose. Whole different story right there. But first, we really work on that internal part. So check with yourself. Do you need to be more disciplined, or do you need more freedom? Where's the stretch zone for you? What's something that you know you can do, but you just haven't done it yet? Get a little more discipline. And then once you master that, you look to the next stretch. What else can you bring in? You'll notice when I started this group, I didn't jump into doing videos every day back when I started this group. No, this has been a gradual expansion in this group, and it will continue to be. I have so many exciting things in store for you, and it has to be little by little, so that it's sustainable, so it's successful, so that it supports me, and it also supports you. And if you get that right, if you get right moving forward step by step, beginning internally, and then don't stay in the internal. At some point, you do need to move to external. You're not probably going to be the monk who can sit and meditate all day on the mountain. You need to take it into the world and do some action. So also examine that for yourself. Are you being too much in the mental, or are you spending all your time in mindset and meditation and you're not actually moving to action, right? We need both. Because when we get our internal going and we're taking those stretches and expanding without a lot of fear, without a lot of resistance, without a lot of struggle, that's when the world expands. That's when we leave the beating yourself up, the negative self-talk, the low self-worth, the feeling like you can't do enough, feeling like you're not good enough, feeling like the world's a hard place. When we get this right, when we take those stretches, when we work on the internal and moving forward in the external world, that's when the magic happens. That's when we experience synchronicity and prosperity and cooperation and acceptance and love and abundance. So I leave you with that today. I leave you with that, thinking about how you can bring whatever you need into your life, and to do it in a way that supports you, not in a way that damages you, in a way that doesn't bring up too much fear, stress, struggle, and resistance. And if you're having a challenge, you might need to step back and work on the internal before you take the external. That's actually what I did. Friday, I had to get internal. I had to step away from the action, and I really had to take some self-care time and feel my feelings and work on the mental. And now, doing much better. Doing much better the last couple days. So please let me know if you need any support. I'm going to put my, my link to my calendar, my scheduler. If you need to jump on the phone, what you do is you schedule a Creative Spark strategy session. That's where we can work on whatever is coming up for you. You're sort of in charge of that. We'll work on whatever it is and see what your next step is, where you need to maybe shift your mindset or move into action. We'll work on that together. And remember, I do this all day long. I do it for myself. I do it for my clients. I help them break fears, help them break through limiting beliefs so that they can have success with their business, success with their creativity, so that they can have a life that's balanced, harmonious, and purposeful. All right. So I leave you with that today. Have a beautiful Sunday. It's Sunday today. If you're watching this today, have a beautiful day. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow when we move into day 9. Day 9. Change your life in 30 days. I hope you're getting great value, and I'll see you tomorrow.